Hey, this is Anney.
And Samantha.
And welcome to Stuff I Never Told You, production of iHeartRadio. And welcome to another Monday Mini. This is the first Monday Mini in March of 2025. Can you believe it, Samantha?
I mean, I feel like it's like 2030 as well as 2012. So I can't believe anything.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. But anyway, that's not what we're talking about today. Today, we were talking about Women's History Month because that is what the month of March is. We do it all the time on this show. It's kind of our
obviously
whole
that's
thing.
Our entire show. So.
Yes, but I did want to shout it out since, especially as we discussed in our recent calendar episode, our DEI episode with Bridget, a lot of companies are trying to erase things like this, like Black History Month, Women's History Month, but not here.
Hell nah.
No. So I just wanted to look into it and maybe kickstart off the month. Get some ideas from you listeners, hopefully. I would love to hear from all of you if you do any celebrations. I was looking at events people do, and I got a wide range of things, like wine and cheese, Women's History Night, or like children's book reading. Like I got a bunch of stuff.
Or you could do like what we're going to do, and we're going to reunite with some friends who love to talk about women's history.
We are.
Hint, hint.
That, yes. We are doing a lot of interviews this month that we're very excited about. So keep an ear out for those. But yeah, let us know if there are things you want us to do if you're hosting an event. Would love to hear about it. But yeah, just a really brief history here. I know we've talked about it more in depth in the past, but you can check out those episodes. But Women's History Week kicked off in 1978 in California. It was sort of an educational celebration that then caught on across the U.S. to coincide with International Women's Day in March. The first time that International Women's Day happened was in 1911. In 1980, a group of women successfully campaigned then President Jimmy Carter, who released a presidential proclamation recognizing the week of March 8th as National Women's History Week. In 1987, the federal government recognized National Women's History Month. And beginning in 1995, every U.S. president issued a statement about Women's History Month when it rolled around. Until this year, of course. We'll see what happens, but I'm going to assume nothing. Because we are recording this. We're recording this on February 27th, 2025. So,
maybe we'll have at least Melania just come up and wave at us. I don't know.
Maybe.
That's all we get.
Yes. That's all.
An immigrant white woman waving at us from afar.
Yes. Yeah. All right. Well, we'll see.
Predictions, anyone? We should have, if we had released this earlier, we could have made this a whole bingo game or a betting pool.
Trying to predict things in this time is wild. I don't know. I have to think about that myself, to be honest.
Probably a big fat zero.
I think that's what I think it's going to be. Yeah. But we'll see.
I mean, it would be better than that, than him being like, you know what? Let's make this even worse and do things against trans women, which is what he's already doing. So, because he's awful.
Yes, definitively, SMNTY can say. Okay. Well, that being said, 2025 is the 30th anniversary of the Beijing Declaration and Platform for Action, which was this huge, sweeping international document and agreement around women and girls' rights around the world. It tackled things like legal protections and social norms, sexist ideas, access to services, and getting youth involved in all of this. So you can still read the document if you would like, or you can find kind of the Cliff Notes version on the UN website. And this year, the UN is revisiting the Beijing Declaration with the theme for all women and girls, rights, equality, empowerment. For International Women's Day on March 8th, 2025. And so they have 6 main goals, and they all start for all women and girls. But I'm not going to read that every time, but just know it all starts with that. A digital revolution, freedom from poverty, zero violence, full and equal decision-making power, peace and security, climate justice. And again, if you go to their website, they have plans for how they're going to accomplish these things. They have macro and micro ways you can participate or what they're trying to do. They're still updating it as we speak, so we'll see if more gets added. According to the International Women's Day site, the theme this year, because they do themes. I actually didn't know this and I feel ashamed of myself, but every year they do themes, is accelerate action. They posted, at the current rate of progress, it will take until 2158, which is roughly 5 generations from now, to reach full gender parity, according to data from the World Economic Forum. The theme selected by the National Women's History Alliance for 2025 is Moving Forward Together, Women Educating and Inspiring Generations. Now, the interesting thing I'm looking to see what will unfold is that these companies that we talked about, who so readily abandoned all of this stuff, are still trying to capitalize on it without supporting it. So I got this whole message from Amazon that's like, give a woman in your life a Woman's Day gift. And I'm like, oh, really?
Wow.
Okay.
Okay.
Interesting. But yeah, I mean, unfortunately, if you go to the UN site for women, they do have a lot of areas where we've progressed around the world, especially in like things like domestic violence and educational parity. But there's also been a lot of backslide, as I'm sure no one is surprised by, especially if you listen to the show. So they had a bunch of like, we're going backwards in these areas too. So we have a lot of things we're going to have to talk about and keep an eye on. Always. But in this Women's History Month, just to keep in mind all of these issues that we're facing, and to always keep that intersectionality in mind, because we've got quite a fight ahead of us for sure.
Right. And just an FYI, I remember reading this and I just found it again. Trump was going against the UN's women's anything because it emphasized gender ideology or diversity, equity, and inclusion, and voted against anything within the UN that would uplift that. Mm-hmm. So anything related to women, they were like, no, we can't. Sorry. Literally, this is from truthout.org. It says, in a statement, U.S. acting representative to the UN Economic and Social Council, Jonathan Schreier, said that the U.S. had, quote, no other option than to vote against a document saying that the program conflicts with the U.S. policies. Literally talking about, because it says DEI. So...
Yep.
That's where we are.
And that's why we're going to keep sharing these stories, these important conversations. It's still Women's History Month for us and for always. But yeah, it's going to take a lot of us working together to combat this. So again, listeners, let us know what you would like us to talk about. If you're doing anything, if you're having a party, that would be so cool to hear about.
Yes.
Yes. You can email us at hello@stuffmonevertoldyou.com. You can find us on Blue Sky at Mom Stuff Podcast, or on TikTok and Instagram at Stuff Mom Never Told You. We're also on YouTube. We have a TeePublic store, and we have a book you can get wherever you get your books. Thanks as always to our super producer Christina, our executive producer Maya, and our contributor Joey.
Thank you.
And thanks to you for listening. Stuff Mom Never Told You is a production of iHeartRadio. For more podcasts from iHeartRadio, you can check out the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you listen to your favorite shows.